Yesterday, I made a video where I talked about a phenomenon that was trending on Twitter, where a lady who was playing Baldur's Gate 3 felt discomfort. She felt ire over the fact that she chose to play the race of a tiefling in this fictional world, which is a half-demonic entity, and she didn't like the fact that the gaming world recognized her as such. So I find it interesting, right? A fantasy where you get to murder people, have sex with bears, all of that is okay. But those goddamn microaggressions, the racismus against tieflings, yes, people who bring their morality into fiction are definitely the type of individuals that I like taking lectures from. Now, a lot of people try to piggyback on that controversy because it gives good clicks on both sides of the aisle. I mean, don't get me wrong, I too made a video to talk about it and give my take. But I find this to be very interesting. Hello, fellow white gamers. Like when I heard this phrase, immediately my head turned. It's like, who the fuck talks like this? Who talks like this? Like when you go into a video game, do you have someone go like, hello, fellow white gamers? I am willing to bet that if I were to use this as an intro to my YouTube channel, I would get banned. People would think that I'm a white supremacist or something. I think it's like if an alien studied humans and thought that it had like a general knowledge on human interaction and behavior, he would go amongst the humans and be like, hello, fellow white humans. Yeah, it's really cringe. Please stop. I know why they're doing. I know. Trust me. When you use this phrase, I know a lot more than you, than even your mother knows. Like, I all of a sudden get so much knowledge over you, like rolling a critical 20 on a wisdom save, you know? So anyway, right, please stop and listen to this when writing for game plots. I wonder if this lady understands that it's not the white gamers that are writing for the plots, it's the person that's hired by the game studio. How can you be this uneducated, yet have so many strong opinions? She must be a Marxist, isn't it? Like, only with the power of Marxism do you manage to get at the level where you think you're literally better than others in a spot where you can educate other people without knowing anything about the subject. You don't even need to know anything, right? You know jack shit about how a video game is made. You don't know what a writer is. You know, but you have like the racismus in you, so it's like, oh, white people. I need to educate them. Let me go on Twitter. And that's it. And then you like say stuff that doesn't even make sense. I think this is the type of person who believes that the R in RPG stands for racismus, right? Anyway, so fellow white gamers, please stop and listen. She asked nicely. We're writing game and plots. This is not a fun fantasy thing and drastically impacts how people see the world. Well, if it drastically impacts how people see the world, maybe they shouldn't be allowed to play video games. I mean, think about it. There are some really horrible video games out there like Manhunt, GTA. You know, like what if someone plays GTA and gets the idea that it's okay to commit crimes? That it's okay to shoot at police out. Like we can't allow that. So we need the system to differentiate between the type of the individuals that are grown adults and can play a video game and understand that it's fictional, and the type of people who cannot. The people who cannot, I think, shouldn't be allowed to play video games because they're like a danger to society. So they should be barred from playing them. I mean, if this is the case you want to make, sure, go ahead. Jesus Christ. Anyway, right, this person keeps on going. Since the post here is by a black woman. Oh, well, I mean, if it's a black woman, already she won the argument, right? Like, if I say anything against her, it's racismus. I don't care. Like, why are you using a person's identity as if it's her credentials? Like, she got a PhD in something. You know, I'm a white man. Like, do you see me going? Well, I'm a Romanian. I'm from a country that doesn't influence world politics. This lady that complained about the RPG, she's from a first world nation that gets to shape global economy. She is far more privileged than I am. So as such, she needs to listen. Do we get to play this game? I genuinely, like, it's so bizarre, you know, like this American ideology where it doesn't matter the opinion that you're having. No, what matters is your birthright. Like, what are your genetics? Like if this person didn't state her identity, would you think that what she said has value or not? Would probably confuse you, wouldn't it? Imagine, like going to NASA, trying to launch a shuttle into orbit, and you look at the data and you're like, well, the math kind of checks out, but I need to know the genetics of the person that wrote the math. I can't make a decision unless I know the genetics. This is the ideology that these people are creating. Very bizarre. But anyway, so apparently it's exhausting to play through games which treat characters with the same kind of racismus and microaggressions she encountered in real life. Well, if it's exhausting, here's my advice. Stop playing, go to bed, go to sleep, relax, wake up, drink a Red Bull, have a cup of coffee, and then you can come back and you're energized. You get a little bit of vitalization going if it's exhausting. Honestly, it's exhausting for me as well to stand here and to look at people who can't differentiate fact from fiction. People who literally go out of their way to encounter racism in a gaming world and then try to force it so that other people who enjoy the game shouldn't be allowed to play it. That's my problem. It's like all these tourists that go like, I really enjoy X. I love X. I loved X for all my life. However, can we change X? Can we make X become more like P? Because P feels more inclusive for my friends. I want X to become P. And if you don't like P, you know what? Maybe you should be thrown out of the hobby. Maybe you should be banned, blocked, and go away. And my question is like, why does everything has to be inclusive nowadays? Why does everything has to be inclusive? Like, can we have just one thing that is exclusive? Just one. Just one so I can go there. Because I think it's more fun that way without the fun police cracking down at the door. But I'm willing to bet that if we had one thing that is exclusive, it would become popular because more people would join, you would get the normies, and then you would have all the people going like, oh, let's make this inclusive. Game of Thrones is the perfect example, right? Like Game of Thrones season 1, you have massive titties on the screen, you have rape, you have racismus in Game of Thrones, you have sexismus, you got like all these things, right? And that was season 1. And then you have the fun police going, oh, we can't have this, oh, we can't have that, oh, it's problematic. We know what happened by the end of it. We know, like, the last seasons that are super sanitized. Like, the whole thing is designed for you to feel something, right? So, like, if you're playing a video game and you're feeling anger because of racism or whatnot, that's a good thing. It's a fictional environment, doesn't hurt anyone, and the fact that you are feeling something means that the art is fit to purpose. You're supposed to feel emotions. If you play a video game and you feel nothing, it's a bad product. That's a boring product. That's why no one plays it, because you don't feel anything. I don't believe that I need to explain to these people. And if you look at the fantasy situation, like, you already have, like, the races amongst humans, right? So, like, if you pick in Dungeons and Dragons, if you pick your character as a human, you have access to different races, and no one is going to even notice that you have, like, a different background. But when you talk about fantasy races, like if you play a drow, or you play a dwarf, or you play an elf, yeah, there should be differences between these characters. If I play an elf, I want to be treated as playing an elf. Because otherwise, what's the point? And this is what they are doing, and they're reading fantasy. They're watering down the differences of races. Like, I watched Star Trek Picard, and they were doing that shit over there. Like, the Vulcans and the Romulans and the humans, I had no more differences amongst each other. And it's like, well, what's the point in having aliens then? Just have it like Battlestar Galactica, where there's humans all over. The whole purpose of fantasy races is that they have these differences. They have, like, these stereotypes where you have, like, the dwarves hating the elves, and the dwarves are stuck in their traditional ways, and the elves like the forest and shit. And then you have, like, some massive evil coming, whether it's Sauron or a necromancer or whatever, right? You got the massive evil coming, and you have these races that hate each other now having to put aside their differences and work together. And it creates interesting scenarios. It creates drama, it creates tension, it creates a wholesome story where you get to see Legolas and Gimli, which is an elf and a dwarf that hate each other, but by the end of it, they become best friends. And that's good storytelling. You're reading it, aren't you? You're watching it, then why do you want to change it is what I don't understand. Why does everything has to fit your view of the world? And usually, it also comes at the cost of many other people. Because the thing what they are doing, right? Like when they try to change something for a vocal minority, because I'm willing to bet that they say that they have like the voice of the black, they don't have shit. It's just one person with their opinion on Twitter, using identity politics in order to seem that they're louder than they are. But like when you cater to this minority of people that aren't even like the biggest amount of paying customers, you end up with the other people who like the thing for what it was, go away. They're turning to anime or to Japanese movies or whatever. And then the product gets bankrupt. And when the product gets bankrupt, even the person that was happy with the changes doesn't get to enjoy it because you don't have the people that are putting money into it in order to keep it alive. So this is why I'm a little bit upset. Right? And all of these people, they're so cowardly. Like, they keep giving the comments disabilities because they know that their opinion is so unpopular. They know that the people that they are preaching to aren't interested. So they constantly hide behind comments disabled, block lists, and all the other shit. Because, dude, like, if your opinion was actually popular and actually shared by the overwhelming majority, you wouldn't need to do this. Like, I don't disable my comments on my videos. Let me know what you guys think, though, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.